Hey, my friend, I'm going on 3 straight days with almost no sleep, and I really think it's important to make a follow-up video about
My doggy.
he's a good boy. Thank you guys so much for the outpouring of love and prayers and the comments below. I really appreciate it because I'm nobody special, but I really appreciate it. In the last video, I talked about how I woke up in the middle of the night. I'll put a link in the description below, but I woke up in the middle of the night at about 10 after 3 a.m. I felt pulled out of my sleep to go pee, which is pretty normal for me. I drink a lot of water, but I always check on my dog because he's a special needs dog, and I just check on him, right? I just love my dog, right? And he wasn't laying on his dog bed. He sleeps on his back, he snores, he takes deep diaphragmatic breaths when he's sleeping, and I just know my dog like the back of my hand. He was laying on the floor in the bedroom on his side as though he had completely passed away. My wife's not home right now, so I'm not going to talk about this in front of her. That's why I'm making the video right now. But he was laying on the floor next to his dog bed, laid out, not breathing, eyes open, like gelled over, gone. He had passed away. I went down to pet him and shake him, and I'm telling the full story here because this is really significant, and I believe that this is a miracle, and I want to know what you think. Was this a medical fluke or an absolute miracle? I want to know in the comments below. I went down like this, and I started rubbing his neck and going like this. There was no response. He, usually you could just touch him and he goes like that. No response. I was shaking him, moving around on the floor. His body had become stiff, and his eyes were open, and I put my head on him for a good 6, 7, 8 seconds, feeling around and squeezing. There's no pulse and no breathing whatsoever at all, and I confirmed that my dog had passed, and I just knew it. You know how you know it? You know how when you're driving and you see an animal on the side of the road, or you see one and you just know, there's not a question about it, that he must have been like that for an hour. He's 12 years old, and anyways, so I got really kind of frantic, and my wife woke up when she heard me, and she goes, "What's going on?" And I go, "Miko passed away. He's gone." She's calling me right now. 1 second. And she goes, "What? No. And she goes down on the ground, and she goes, "Can we rush him to the vet?" And I say, "There's no point. He has already completely passed away." And who did I turn to? Hello? Hey, I'm in the middle of making a video right now, and it's recording. Can I call you right back? It's okay. Yes. I don't have time. He's fine. He's right here. I'm right next to him. See, she's calling about the dog. So, in those moments of complete desperation, we love our dog very much. I dropped to my knees with absolute faith, and I just started crying out to the Holy Spirit. Okay, it's worth a shot, right? But I did it with a level of faith that I've never felt myself have before. This was like, in the Bible it says that he was in a crowd of people, Jesus was, and a woman reached out and she just touched his garment on his robe or whatever, and she had so much faith that he felt it, and it just broke right through, and she was healed, right? I reached out, this dude was in a meeting in heaven, right? I know this sounds crazy to people who don't believe in God, right? And I don't even know how to quantify heaven, but dude, in my gut and my faith, I reached through. This dude was in a meeting, and I grabbed him by the ankle. And I was like, "I need your help right now." And I'm not going to get all into it, but it was pure faith. So I said, we need more time. We need more time with our dog. And I turn around and I felt an energy come through me of absolute willpower, of energy, of certainty, pure faith flowing through me, through my arms, through my hands. I'm not going to fabricate anything, okay? So I started doing CPR on my dog and flipped him over and was doing mouth to mouth and blowing in his lungs. And the first blow into his lungs, like his lungs were closed and stiff and his whole body was stiff. When I blew, there was a pop, like his lungs were blocked or restricted, and it popped and it went open. And then I kept pulsing on his chest and doing compressions on him. And within literally 10 seconds of doing it, his lungs, by the second breath, second or third breath, his lungs went like that, and I blew again, and and then all of a sudden his heart started beating again, and it went like a real slow, faint beat, and I was like, oh my God. So I just kept compressing on his chest and blowing in his lungs and doing compressions, and I was literally shouting to Jesus the whole time, and my wife is like, stop it, you're scaring me. I'm like, this is absolute faith, like intervention. And I just kept doing compressions, and then we got the dog, so he was starting to breathe again, and his heart started beating again. And but he was laying there like lifeless. So now we're both crying. We know for a fact. It was a miracle to me, just that my dog was able to get his heart beating again. And how can I say this? I thought we only had a few moments left with him, as though like we might have a couple minutes. I said we need more time with our dog when I prayed, that we need more time, but I thought maybe we were given 5 more minutes just to say goodbye. So we were saying goodbye to him and getting ready to rush him to the vet. And then we put him on the bed, and he was barely breathing on his own, completely no energy, just barely in consciousness. So I kept doing compressions on him and keeping his lungs, compressing in and out. And then my wife came and she laid by him. And then I ran into this bedroom here, and now I was crying, hands up in the air like this. This is like my wife's room, and I was like crying out, saying, Lord Jesus, I pray to you right here, like right now. I'm not hoping you're real. I'm not wishing that you're real. Oh, look, we bought this house from my in-laws, and this was a kid's room. I kind of like the dinosaur footprints. Anyways, I digress. So I'm not thinking and hoping you're real. I'm not imagining that you're real. I'm not any of that stuff. I know for a fact you're real, and I need you right now. And I need more time with my dog. Please, God, just give us at least one more Christmas with our dog. And I'm crying, I'm sobbing. This is like pure praise. And I come back into the room. My dog's laying on the bed, and he's starting to breathe on his own now, okay? I'm like, he's gonna have complete brain damage. The dog's gonna be a vegetable. He's probably gonna die within an hour. We'll get him to the vet. We'll end up putting him down. Like all the stuff that's going through your head in this moment with absolute certainty, when you see what I saw and you feel what I felt, you know that we're going to put our dog down or watch him die or be a vegetable, or we're gonna have to put him down anyways. We get him in the car, he's weak, my wife's crying, I keep petting him, I'm pressing on his chest, I'm pulsing on it, and she's like, stop it, you're hurting him. I'm like, I'm not hurting him, I'm just trust me. Like, I was being overboard in a way that made my wife scared, but I believe that's the measure that I was called to be at. By the time we get him to the vet, he was fine. He went potty outside. And then we get him in the vet and he's all chipper and he's wagging his tail and he's jumping around being his normal self. I'm like, how is this dog alive right now? And how does this dog not have brain damage? Because a dog can go 4 to 6 minutes max without oxygen. The brain will die off, the organs shut down, you can't get them back. So we're waiting, we're scared, we're terrified. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, 5 by the time the vet sees him. And the vet tests him with a thermometer, temperature normal. Test him with his heartbeat, 120 beats per minute, normal. Does just checking with his eyes and his reflexes, sets the dog down, watches the dog run to me to test his motor skills. Perfect. The vet was going like this. He goes, "This is absolutely remarkable. Based off everything you're telling me, this is remarkable. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen." He said, when a dog goes under like that or stops, the heart stops beating, I mean, we're putting tubes down the throat, epinephrine, doing chest compressions, everything we can. And he says a lot of times they just go and we can't get them back. And when we do get them back, it's a long time of ICU if they even make it to even rehabilitate them. He says it just doesn't happen like this. So he said he's never seen anything like this happen in all of his years of being a vet. Now, that might just be his case. It might be more common than I think. I don't know. But I'm just sitting in the vet right now, looking at this doctor looking at me, and all I could think was to say was, hey, I just want to let you know I'm mentally sound. I'm not like a crazy obsessive OCD about my pet. I'm not rushing him to the hospital every night thinking he's dying. I'm not like that. I know my dog and I have a sound mind. I'm not crazy. He said, "No, I don't think you're crazy at all. I would replace the word crazy with lucky." And I go, whew, okay. And I said, well, I wasn't going to say this right away, but I was praying. And I believe that this is a miracle. He said, miracles do happen. And the vet was just this doctor, he was a really cool guy. And you could tell he's very experienced. He believed I was 100%, right? And he was amazed. And he's like, we could do x-rays, we could do whatever, but at this point, the dog's vitals are perfect. And we gave him some medicine. We're like, we gotta do something. So he wrote him a prescription to settle his stomach and his, it's kind of it's like a Prilosec or something, because he's got an actual problem. But we got him home. We thought we're both scared now. We don't know if it's going to happen again. So that was the night before last night. What can I say? Yesterday morning. And all last night, I slept on the floor, very painful, next to my dog's bed. And I just, every 15 minutes, I made myself wake up and check him. Pet him, put my hand, make sure he's breathing. If 20 minutes went by, I was like, and jumped on my dog. And I feel bad because he's tired as hell now because I've been keeping him up all night. And I don't mean to have lack of faith, but I mean, I've got up 13, 14 times last night between, 1 a.m. and 8 p.m., 7 p.m. So I didn't sleep more than 12, 15 minutes at a time. But I don't care about me, I just care about my dog. And then the deal with my wife is we're going to trade places. Tonight I'm going to sleep, and then she's going to get up every 15 minutes. And I care so much about my dog, and not that my wife, she loves him more than I love him. And I love this dog a lot. My wife is going to be a mess when this dog actually passes.
This is Miko. He's a good boy. Oh, he's a good boy.
And this is Gracie. So he's a 12-year-old Lhasa Apso, and his condition is called megaesophagus. I'll put a link in the description below of his disease, and I make videos about it that I don't share with anybody, and people watch them and it helps them with their dogs, right? I even kind of somewhat invented this. I didn't invent the chair, but a collapsible thing that you can, because we travel, so he can take this special chair with him. He has to sit upright whenever he eats, so the food goes down properly. But I'll put some links below. But anyways, but I love this dog so much that I don't even know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. So I can't even believe I'm awake right now making this video. But I love this dog so much. I was on the phone with somebody who suggested that the dog, he never passed away. None of that happened. Oh, I forgot to say, when I say medical miracle, maybe I just woke up, or I was called to wake up within that 6-minute period before the dog died. Does that make sense? Like, I woke up and caught him just in the nick of time and did CPR on him. The next thing is it's a miracle. And then the third option is what somebody suggested to me, that the dog it never even happened. It's all in my head, and that the dog was just in a deep, deep sleep. Now, I've gone in circles in my head about that and replayed it over and over and over and over. And the little demon on my shoulder, or the little devil on my shoulder, says to me, what if the dog was sleeping and you're just crazy and you were overreacting and all this was all in your head, right? What if he was just sleeping? And I go back to, I don't think at 99% and 1% he was just sleeping. I'm 100% sure that this is real. 100%. Because just to recap, when he was laying on the floor on his side, which he